After it had sunk in President William Ruto's head that Rigathi Gachagua was not going to take any kind of shit from Dennis Itumbi, the communication strategist, and from Farouk Kibet, his personal assistant, President William Ruto hatched a different plan to use billions of shillings to bribe Rigathi Gachagua.
Talked the other day. I have not talked after he has talked.
So your claims are true?
I said he talked to me. He sent a very senior officer in government. When he called me myself when we disagreed and said, I cannot work with you. I would like you to resign. And if you don't, I'll impeach you. And later on in the interview, I'll tell you why we disagreed. And he said, instead of you going home empty-handed, and since you assisted me, I would like you to go with your retirement package, and I can get you some money to get you started off, like 1.52 billion. I told him to go to hell. I'm not interested. I'm priceless. And that kind of money, you know I have. You know how much I funded your campaign. I am not a man to be given 2 billion shillings. You know what the kind of money I am into. And therefore, I say, fine. He sent a very senior officer to come and see me. On Thursday, when the National Assembly resolved that I should be impeached by going to the Senate, that Friday morning, he sent a very senior officer to come and see me. And he gave me his terms. And again, it's my ethics because I don't record people. I recorded that conversation, giving me that offer from the president. I have that record. Okay?
So the
following day,
speaking for the president.
Yeah, he sent me. The following day.
But you know the burden of proof lies with the accuser.
No problem. The following day, he told the officer I should go and have a discussion with him. And I refused to go to State House. She suggested I go to his hotel, the Western Hotel. I refused. And we met somewhere along State House Road in one of the safe houses run by the National Intelligence Service. And between me, that officer, and myself, we had a discussion with the president. Again, I recorded that conversation for posterity because I know William Ruto. I put it on record. Again, he gave me that offer. I told him I'll think about it. I didn't want to have a fight with him because it was not necessary. That officer persuaded me that I should listen to the president. And because he's a man from home, he said, it doesn't matter, whatever it is, just listen to what he has to say.
So where did all this mess begin? So William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua decide to run for president with Ruto as the ticket bearer, with Ruto as president and Rigathi Gachagua as deputy president. These guys get elected into office and then they begin to work. Rigathi Gachagua soon realizes that the William Ruto that is now president is different from the William Ruto that he knew when they were campaigning. William Ruto all of a sudden graduates from a faithful servant of God into a formidable dictator within State House. Now around President Ruto were Farouk Kibet and Dennis Itumbi. And of course there were cabinet members whom both William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua had decided, nominated, and were okayed by Parliament. It now dawns on Rigathi Gachagua that William Ruto's mode of government and leadership is not anything that he had expected. The president does not want to deal with Rigathi Gachagua directly. The president wants to rely on his personal assistant, who is Farouk Kibet, who is allegedly not so well educated as compared to other members of President William Ruto's government. So William Ruto wants to give instructions to Rigathi Gachagua using his personal assistant, and Rigathi Gachagua is not comfortable. Rigathi knows that he is the second most powerful person in the country. He is actually the deputy president and the principal assistant to the president. And by all standards, he is right. And then he looks at William Ruto. William Ruto anaenda kona kona hivi. Instead of William Ruto going straight to the deputy president, instead of the two having a conversation as the chief and his principal assistant, there's this gentleman coming in between, Farouk Kibet, and of course another one, Dennis Itumbi. So this is what is causing friction. Rigathi does not want to be controlled by either Farouk Kibet or Dennis Itumbi. At the same time, it is William Ruto's design to use these two influential individuals to reach out to members of his cabinet and of course his principal assistant, who is Rigathi Gachagua. So this is where all these problems begin. Rigathi akona kiburi. William Ruto akona kiburi. Kila mtu akona kiburi kivyake. Nobody wants to be controlled. Of course, it's not the job of the president to control the deputy president. The deputy president has a constitutional mandate to be the president's principal assistant. So, in essence, Rigathi anaona enyewe, no. Rigathi anasema hapana. Mimi, Farouk, sio mtu anaweza nipea instruction. If the president want to give me instructions, let him come to me direct and we discuss as members of the executive. Rigathi anasema hapana, hakuna venye wewe kama Ruto, wewe unaweza tumia PA wako kunifikishia ujumbe. There's no way you can use just a blogger, just your personal assistant to get to me. Now at this point, a seed of discord has been sown. There's a contention that is growing between William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua. The kind of love, unity that had existed when they were campaigning had now been eroded at this particular time, and all that remained was a tickling time bomb that was just waiting to explode. So Ruto anaangalia, anapiga hesabu zake, anaona this guy is becoming a threat because I want to do my things the way I want. At the same time, there's this guy called Rigathi Gachagua. He's very arrogant, he's very proud, and he cannot tone down and accept that I'm the head of state, and therefore by that I have the right to do things whatever I want. And then Ruto looks at this and he sees only two options. Number one is either to bribe the deputy president Rigathi Gachagua or to plot for his impeachment. And therefore he goes to the deputy president to present a deal that, you know, Rigathi, at this point we cannot work together anymore. You accept this 2 billion shillings, 1.5 or 2 billion shillings that I'm going to give you, and of course when you retire, you'll get your good retirement benefits. So what you do, tender your resignation to me, and I'll give you these benefits plus a send-off of about 1.5 to 2 billion shillings. Rigathi anaangalia hii pesa, anaona hii ni pesa amekuwa kimake. Anaangalia, anaona yenyewe, anaona, no, it can't work this way because I supported this government, I supported the president, and we campaigned, and I used a lot of money, more than this 1.5 or 2 billion the president is presenting before me. So Rigathi anaona hii haiwezi, this one is not possible. So I said Ruto had two options, either to bribe Rigathi or to plot for his impeachment. So Rigathi refuses to be bribed by all standards. And the only alternative that he remained with at that particular point was to mobilize MPs in the Senate and also in the National Assembly to impeach Rigathi Gachagua. And then this one becomes successful. Rigathi Gachagua now began to live his best life. He was no longer in the chains of William Ruto. He was no longer tied to the corrupt practices and irregularities of President William Ruto. Henceforth, he became very free and he could talk about all manner of injustices, all manner of corrupt practices that the president and his cabinet and his entire team had been involved in. It would be interesting to see how this thing goes. One accuses the other and the other one responds. The president accused Rigathi of, fighting with small people, the so-called small people like Itumbi and Farouk. And then Rigathi Gachagua, in a televised interview with KTN News, decided to respond and expose the president in a historic deconstruction that lasted less than 2 hours. Do let me know your thoughts and opinions concerning this entire matter. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more informative content such as this. And in the event you're watching for the first time, please get over to YouTube and search for Patrick Odero, and I guarantee you will be treated to a ton of recent content of this nature on politics, policy, and governance issues in our country. Alright guys, this is all that I had for you in this video. Let us meet up in the video that's coming right after this.